On the 29th of November 2020, a man by name Mehdi Siati, who is 29 years of age, had a heated confrontation with his wife, Elobi Kasowa, about his 3-year-old stepson, Kevin Fury. When this confrontation with his wife had gotten to its highest peak, Mr. Mehdi Siati dashed into his 3-year-old stepson's room, proceeded into getting on his bed. While his wife tried to pull him away from the bed, he overpowered her and stepped on his 3-year-old stepson's head and smashed his head 3 times. His wife, Elobi Kasowa, pulled him away from her son, picked her son into her arms and rushed with her son to the hospital. While at the hospital, he was declared dead. Hello guys, welcome. If you are new here, please subscribe, like, comment and share. Now guys, I just want to tell you guys, I'm new to this true crime thing, so if I didn't present my work very well, I would like for you guys to tell me down at the comment section. But if I'm doing so good, you please also tell me down at the comment section and give your thoughts of what you think about this crime story for today. And then guys, feel free to criticize me. I live for constructive criticism. Please criticize me. I live for it. Criticism works. It helps everyone to get better, in what they are doing. So I will love your criticism. Please do not shy to criticize my work. So thank you all for listening. And crime story for today is going to take us to the beautiful country of Malawi, in the town of Kasungu, where there lives a fisherman by name Mehdi Siati. He's 29 years of age. As his profession requires, being a fisherman, he spends his time and days by the sea fishing. But when he comes back home, he's got little or no fish to sell in order for him to afford his needs. So that got him frustrated that he wasn't a successful fisherman. But when you take a look at his friends, his life, they were so successful fishermen. They could fish every day and catch a lot of fish, then sell and make huge amount of money from it, and provide for themselves their needs with no stress financially. So this got Mr. Mehdi Siati worried. He approached his friends one day and asked them, "What are the techniques you guys use to fish?" And their response was, "The same techniques you know are the same techniques we use to fish." He approached them again another day and he asked them for the second time, "What are the techniques you guys use to fish? Please teach me." They told him, "The same techniques you know is the same techniques we use to fish. It's just that you are not lucky like us." For the third time, he mounted pressure this time and asked them and persisted, "What are the techniques you guys use to fish?" They told him, "If we tell you our technique, are you sure you'll be man enough to carry out the procedure in order for you to be able to start catching a lot of fish?" He said yes. They now told him that they offer young boys, they each offer a boy of age 3 to 5 years old to a ritualist or a marabout or a native doctor who then carried out incantations on this little boy's dead body. And then when they go back to fish, they catch a lot of fish. So Mr. Mehdi Siati, upon hearing that, took off to the native doctor's place to go ask him to tell him to what he should do in order for him to catch a lot of fish. The native doctor told him that he should offer a young boy from age 3 to 5 years, within that range, as a blood sacrifice. And if he does that, oh my goodness, he's going to catch a lot of fish, up to the extent which he's going to live financially stable from that profession of fishing. Mr. Mediciati left the native doctor's place, contemplating how am I going to get a young boy from the age range of 3 to 5 years to give as a blood sacrifice. He said, where can I get this young boy? And it came to his mindset that, oh, if I can find one of these single mothers in this town of Kasungo and befriend them, I can get access to their young sons who happen to be 3 to 5 years old. I can use them for blood sacrifice. Wow. He started roaming around Kasungo from one neighborhood to another, searching for a single mother with a young son from the age range of 3 to 5 years old. He finally found Mrs. Elobi Kasowa, who had a 3-year-old son. He asked her out and she accepted. They became great friends as boyfriends and girlfriends. He asked Mrs. Elobi Kasowa to move in with him, but she refused. She said, the only way I can move in with you is when you get married to me and you accept my son as yours. He accepted. He got married to Mrs. Elobi Kasowa and they lived happily for a month and a half. After a month and a half, he started asking Mrs. Elobi Kasowa, please, my wife, things are hard for us. My fishing business is not successful. As a fisherman, I'm not a successful fisherman. But can you hand your son, Kevin Fury, to me so that I can take him to a ritualist and use him as a blood sacrifice in order for me to start catching so much fish so that I can provide you a better life, and I too, we can live happily financially with no stress. Mrs. Elobi Kasowa rebuked him. She said, God forbid, not my son, Kevin. He left it like that for the day. Elobi Kasowa again, please, can you give me this your son, Kevin Fury, so that I can use him for a blood sacrifice, so that I can catch so much fish, so that I will be able to give you and I a better standard of living. Mrs. Elobi Kasowa refused. For the third time, he asked violently this time. Mrs. Elobi Kasowa, his wife, took her son and sent Kevin Fury to go live with his grandparents. He went and was living with his grandparents for close to like 2 weeks. Mr. Mediciati made peace with his wife because the only way his plan can become successful is when that little boy is living with him, not when that little boy is living with his grandparents. It will be unable for him to use that little boy for blood sacrifice. He made peace with his wife and apologized, said he was sorry. He didn't know what entered him and manipulated his mindset up to the extent he was thinking of such evil. His wife decided to bring that little boy home again to come live with his stepfather and her. On the 29th of November, Mr. Mediciati asked Mrs. Elobi Kasowa again, after this little boy has returned home living with them, that please hand me this son of yours so that I can use him for a blood sacrifice and give us a better standard of living through me being a fisherman. Mrs. Elobi Kasowa rebuked him this time, and this time it got physical. The confrontation was too hot and too heated. It was at night, around 10 p.m. at night, 29th of November. When the confrontation got too hot and at its peak, Mr. Mediciati left Mrs. Elobi Kasowa and dashed into the little boy's room. While Mrs. Elobi Kasowa tried to pull him away from her son, Mr. Mediciati overpowered her. When upon this little boy's bed, she tried again to pull him away from this little boy's bed. He overpowered her again. Then he stepped upon this little boy's head and smashed his head 3 times. 3 times he smashed his head. Mrs. Elobi Kasowa picked her little boy up and held him in her arms. and shook her little boy and called him Kevin, Kevin, Kevin. He could not respond. She rushed with him to Kasungo District Hospital. While at Kasungo District Hospital, the doctors tried all possible means to resuscitate this little boy, but to no avail. They later on declared him dead. A post-mortem was conducted on the little boy, and they found out that the little boy died of injuries in his head. But when they asked Mr. Mediciati, he said it was unintentional that he stepped on this little boy's head. So guys, hit me down at the comment section and tell me what you think about this crime story. So let's digest this. Mr. Mediciati claimed that it was unintentional that he smashed his stepson's head. But he had a heated confrontation with his wife, Ilobi Kasowa, in the living room, not in his stepson's bed. What took him from the living room to the bedroom of his stepson if it was not the intention to kill that little boy for blood sacrifice? So on that, again, I would say, he's guilty. No matter how, he's defended, the lawyer of, the culprit is going to play, whatever evidence he tries to give in court, he is guilty. He is guilty. He is so guilty because there's evidence, he's guilty. But should we blame, tell me, should we blame Mrs. Ilobi Kasowa for her son's death? I think she has a blame on this. But I know she will not be sent to prison, she's free off of this crime of her son's death, but she has the blame of her son's death. Because how can you get married to a man and after a month and a half of you guys living happily, he starts demanding you to give your son to him so that he can offer him as a blood sacrifice to catch a lot of fish? I mean, isn't that insane? It is so crazy that you will keep on still living with such a man after making such propositions to you. She did right. She wouldn't have even just continued living with this man. She would have just packed her things with her son and left this man and seek for a divorce and leave this man, period. I know there is a desperation of single mothers, to have a man too in their life who will help them, offload the responsibility of taking care of these children. Yes, it's a wonderful desperation, but your desperation should not surpass, the need to protect your children from evil. Be careful. In so many places around the world, in so many families, we've seen how stepchildren are being violated by their stepfathers and their mothers kept quiet because they just want a husband in their life. They just want that title of, I'm a married woman. Yes, I understand. But like I said, your desperation to get a man in your life shouldn't surpass your need to protect the need for you to protect your children. So I think she shares the blame. And if there was a way, I want her in prison, because she is the reason why her son is dead right now. Even when Mr. Mediciati apologized, when she sent her son to go live with his grandparents, she shouldn't have tell the son to come back to the house, because that's evil. Just imagine yourself, you're a single mother, sisters, and the man whom you're married to tells you to give your child, your biological child, up for blood sacrifice. Give it to him so that he can use it for blood sacrifice. He can use the child for blood sacrifice. What are you going to do? Will you just think you will have a second thought of staying with that man? You will just pack your things and leave because that man is evil. So guys, I'd like to get your thoughts of what you think about this crime story. Now, I'll leave you with this. I love you all, but know Jesus Christ loves you more. Stay safe and be blessed. Bye bye.